you're on your screens. Ensure your devices are on mute. The ceremony will begin. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, welcome to the Spring 2020 VMI NROTC Marine Corps Commissioning Ceremony. Please rise for the playing of the National Anthem and remain standing for the invocation by Chaplain Phillips. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Phillips.
Good morning. Please join me for the invocation. Lord, as we gather today, we recognize that we are living in a unique, uncertain, and volatile time. And as our nation seeks answers, searches for hope, and looks to the future, we hear a constant and unceasing cry for trustworthy leaders. Lord, we need men and women of character and integrity to step up and to selflessly assume the mantle of courageous leadership. Lord, today my heart is filled with hope and with joy because I believe that some of those leaders are standing here with us today. I give you thanks for these 26 young men and women who have finished their academic coursework and their military training requirements amidst these tenuous and confusing days. As they take their oath of office as Marine officers, I pray for your blessings upon them. Raise them up. Equip them to be leaders of consequence and visionaries who influence people, organizations, and our nation. May they always demonstrate an unwavering devotion to duty. May they be servant leaders who put their needs, the needs of their subordinates, above their own needs. May they be the first to volunteer for the tough, dirty, and unceremonious jobs. When they face uncertainty, fear, and adversity, may they do so with confidence, tenacity, grit, and a steadfast faith in you. Lord, I thank you for each of these soon-to-be commissioned officers, and I thank you for the good that you will bring about through them. And I pray this all in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Phillips. Please be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce Colonel Craig Streeter, Commanding Officer, VMI's NROTC Unit.
Thank you, Command Senior Chief Foote. Thank you also to Chaplain Phillips for your prayer over these proceedings and over everyone who's with us today online. I'd like to begin today's ceremony by recognizing our Commissioning General Officer, Major General James W. Bierman, Jr. Sir, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be our guest of honor and our keynote speaker. I'd also like to recognize General P. Distinguished guests, our many off-site commissioning officers located all around the United States. Thank you for being such an important part of today's ceremony. To the veterans, no matter the branch, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, thank you for your service to our great nation. To the active duty military and civilian members of the VMI NROTC unit, to members of the VMI faculty and staff, VMI alumni, family and friends of these commissionees, and the men and women of the VMI NROTC Marine Option Class of 2020. Welcome each and every one of you to this historic, unusual, but historic online Marine Corps commissioning ceremony. This is a great day, a day when we can set aside for just a moment all concerns related to the ongoing pandemic and celebrate the accomplishment of these amazing young leaders. Attention all future Marine Corps officers. Today is May 15th, 2020, the day you've all been waiting for. This is the day when you achieve the goal that you set out for yourself so many years ago. This is the day when all of your hard work, the blood and the sweat and the tears, it finally paid off. Today marks the completion of your NROTC training and education and the culmination of 4 long years of life at the Institute, made up of events and experiences that shaped your lives, bound you to your brother rats, and made you the person you are today. Of course, I'm talking about things like the rat line and breakout and ring figure and bulldog and McAdoo's. Just saying. Today marks the end of your VMI journey and the beginning of your military service to our nation as a Marine Corps officers. From this moment on, you are no longer a healthful and pleasant abode of a crowd of honorable youths. In the next few moments, you will forever trade Cadet Gray for Marpats, and you will shed the title of VMI Cadet and NROTC Midshipman. Again, this is a great day, the day when you officially become an officer of Marines and one of the few and the proud. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for these great young American warriors. This is also a great day for your families and your loved ones. So to all the moms and dads, aunts and uncles, grandparents, family members and friends of these outstanding young VMI men and women, let me be the first to say thank you. You made this day possible through your love and your support, your encouragement and your patience and your prayers and your checkbook. Just want to make sure you're paying attention. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause, this time for the families and the loved ones. Before I go further, I want to recognize a very special group of people and offer a word of thanks. First, to Captain Nick Gray and the Marines of the Officer Selection Office, Roanoke, for their professionalism and leadership of the Platoon Leaders Class program in OCC. There is a seamless integration between the PLC program and the NROTC unit. In fact, over half of today's commissionees are PLC Marine Option students. That's an amazing feat, and it would not be possible if it were not for Captain Gray and his Marines, so thank you very much. To Captain Starr, Captain Murphy, and Master Sergeant McCord, my VMI Marines, for the work that they have done, thank you very much. They have instructed you, they have mentored you, they have served you, and at times they have motivated you when you needed a firm but fair kick in the butt with a size 14 steel-toed Marine Corps boot. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for these outstanding Marine Corps leaders. We live in interesting and uncertain times. The world is a dangerous place. Today, the American people face threats that are constantly evolving and increasingly complex and unpredictable. Now more than ever, our nation needs highly educated, skilled, dedicated young men and women at the tip of the spear, 24/7, 365. Our nation needs warriors on air, land, and sea. Our nation needs Marines. Our nation needs men and women in our Marine Corps who are leaders, who are honorable and ethical, who will do the right thing always, even when it's hard, who can be trusted to wield our country's military might responsibly. Men and women who are tough, resilient, strong, and courageous, mentally, physically, and morally. In times of peace and war, and now a time that's something in between, our nation and our Marine Corps needs commissioned officers from the Virginia Military Institute, citizen soldiers who understand and who have demonstrated commitment and persistence and perseverance and sacrifice, who know what it means to be loyal. Today, that loyalty extends to your brother rats. Tomorrow, it will extend to your Marines. Our nation and our Corps need officers who practice servant leadership and who are men and women of integrity and honor. One final word to our future Marine Corps officers. The lessons you learned at VMI will be the foundation of your future success in the Marine Corps. Go forward in confidence, knowing that your VMI and NROTC education have prepared you well for the challenges that await you. God bless you, and Semper Fidelis. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to introduce our Marine Corps Commissioning General Officer. The General has asked me to keep his introduction short, very short. So here goes. Major General Chip Bierman is a 1987 graduate of the Virginia Military Institute. He currently serves as the Commanding General of Marine Corps Recruiting Command. In August of this year, Major General Bierman will assume command of the 3rd Marine Division. Please join me in welcoming a warrior and our Commissioning General Officer, Major General Bierman.
Hey, SB, Colonel Streeter, thank you for that introduction. Well done to you and the entire NROTC staff. General P, I certainly want to pass on my regards to you, sir. Thanks for your leadership of the Institute, and in particular, thank you for this opportunity to serve as the commissioning officer. Families, friends, and cadets, welcome to today's commissioning ceremony. I'm coming to you all from the Marsh Center, which is the Marine Corps Manpower Building in Quantico, Virginia. There's a couple Marines off screen who have helped me put this together, and I appreciate their efforts. What I do want to do before I get into my comments, though, is introduce one of them, the Sergeant Major of Marine Corps Recruiting Command, my Sergeant Major Cortez Brown. When we were talking about this event yesterday, I said, "Hey, Sergeant Major, you know, they're not going to be able to see you. You can watch in utilities." And he said, "Hey, sir, come on. We're going to commission 26 young men and women as lieutenants of Marines." He said, I'll be dressed accordingly." And I do want to give him a second just to say hello to all of you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Message to the cadets. Cadets, you're about to become the Marine Corps' newest officers. It's time to lead. Don't take that lightly. Godspeed and Semper Fidelis.
Thanks, Sergeant Major. Hey, as I begin my comments, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge this is a very special day for all of us in the VMI family. It's Newmarket Day. 156 years ago today, the VMI Cadet Battalion charged across a muddy field under frontal, enfilading fire, and a quarter of the cadets who participated in that charge were killed or wounded. All of you have the names of those who fell memorized. You know them by heart. But all these years later, the courage of those teenage boys, their simple obedience to duty as they understood it, it continues to serve as an example to all of us. And it's very fitting that this VMI commissioning falls on the anniversary of that battle. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell all of you that I've been very excited to be a part of this event. It's probably fair to say none of you over the years, when you look forward, imagine your commissioning, you probably never thought it would be done virtually. You're physically separated from your brother rats, maybe some very special members of your family. I understand that, but I'm also very proud of the way we've all adopted and overcome in the face of the pandemic. Despite the obstacles, maybe because of the obstacles, this is still going to be a very memorable and special day for all of us, and I particularly hope for all of you. This ceremony brings back a flood of memories for me. My own commissioning into the Marine Corps was 33 years ago to the day. Also on Newmarket Day, May 15th, 1987, we were in JM Hall. The commissioning officer all those years ago was a Marine general by the name of Frank Breath. Brigadier General Breath had graduated from VMI in 1959. I'll be honest, I remember it was a great speech. I don't remember a great deal of it all these years later, but I do recall that near the end of his speech, Brigadier General Breath quoted from the book of Luke. telling me and my brother rats who are about to be commissioned, to those whom more is given, more is expected. Those words made an impression on me then, and they still make an impression on me. As I sat there in my coatee, listening to the general, I thought about how incredibly fortunate I was to be graduating from the Virginia Military Institute, and how much I owed to so many different people who had made that all possible. Following Brigadier General Brett's remarks, he swore us in. I can still remember the excitement I felt as I raised my right hand and took an oath to defend our Constitution and this great republic of ours. I understood the seriousness of what was happening, but I also correctly sensed that this was the beginning of a great adventure. I fondly recall the brother rats who stood beside me as we became Marine lieutenants together, all of them friends to this very day. Most of them have since left the military. One of them gave his life in the service of our country as a Marine, and two of us are serving in the Marine Corps still. When I think of that day, I also remember the pride of my family as they watched me get commissioned. And so following on SB's comments, before I go any further, let me acknowledge and thank the moms, the dads, the grandparents, and the family members out there. None of those who will shortly be commissioned got there by themselves. Someone played a big hand in their success, and many of you are out there participating in this event. As a father of five, I can readily appreciate the love, the patience, the time, and the effort that you've put into these extraordinary young men and women. They couldn't have done it without you. Thank you for your example. Thank you for your patriotism. Thanks for the sacrifices you've made and for encouraging these young people to serve our country in uniform. This is every bit as much your day as it is the young men and women who are about to be commissioned. Now let me focus the rest of my comments on those of you who will shortly become Marine lieutenants. Ultimately, today is both a celebration of great accomplishments and it's an acceptance of future challenges. With those future challenges in mind, let me now briefly discuss the meaning and the importance of your commission, and then I'll end with some simple advice. A book written in the 1950s called The Armed Forces Officer says this: the commission is never lightly given. It must be earned and deserved. It does not mean the officer instantly becomes a leader. It means the officer has been found worthy to enter a profession that dedicates itself to the leadership of American fighting forces and the defense of our nation. So the commission you receive today, it provides you the authority to lead. But beyond that, as Marine lieutenants, and especially as VMI graduates, the expectation is further that you will lead well. Marine officers lead from the front. They share privation and danger with those they lead. They set as high a standard for themselves as they do for those in their unit. And they set the conditions for mission success at the least cost in blood and treasure. They take care of their Marines. Faced with these very high expectations, some of you may be saying to yourself in that little voice that counsels us all from time to time, am I ready for this? Can I do it? And my answer to you is an emphatic yes. As I told you in November at the birthday ball, you're ready. VMI is seen to that. There's no better preparation for becoming a Marine officer than making your way through the VMI Corps of Cadets, which you all have. You will succeed, and more importantly, you must succeed. Not only the future and reputation of our Corps, but the preservation of our nation and our American way of life depend on it. There are many challenges and hard times ahead, but you're embarking on the journey of a lifetime. So hang on, embrace it, and enjoy the ride. Finally, if you'll indulge me a little bit on a day when I know you're going to get a great deal of well-intended advice, I'd like to add my 2 cents worth. 2 cents and just 2 pieces of advice. First, always remember that this business is bigger than any one person. It's bigger than any of us. Be humble and have the attitude that you've got to earn it every single day. Serve for the sake of service, and don't ever forget it's not all about you. Second, take care of your Marines. Understand they don't need another friend. They've got plenty of those in the barracks. What they do need, what they demand, is a lieutenant who inspires them, who holds them to a high standard, who truly cares about them, and who will set them up for success. Caring will often take the form of tough love to ensure they're well trained, they're ready, and they're disciplined. Foster a climate of dignity, discipline, and respect, fueled by your own example. The reward for all the sweat and hard work is priceless. Accomplishing the mission and doing it in a way that earns the respect of your people, your Marines, and your sailors. Today, you join the ranks and become a United States Marine. You join our ranks and become a United States Marine. Make no mistake about the fact, in a couple minutes, when you raise your right hand and swear in, you are every bit as much a United States Marine as any of the legendary heroes of our past. You've earned the right to wear the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. It's the same EGA worn by Marines who crossed the wheat field, who raised the flag atop Mount Suribachi, who fought their way out of the reservoir, and who patrolled the killing fields of Vietnam and Helmand. Now it's your EGA. Protect it, and as VMI graduates have done over the generations, add luster to it. To those whom more is given, more is expected. In closing, thank you for allowing me to be part of this very special day. I'm sorry I can't individually shake each of your hands and congratulate you personally. That's okay. It's a small corps. I think our paths will cross again. When they do, I would ask a favor of all of you. Please make a point of coming up to me, grabbing me, and reminding me who you are and saying hello. I wish you fair winds and following seas, good luck and Godspeed, Ra Virginia Mill, and Semper Fidelis. Will all the VMI midshipmen commissioning as second lieutenants in the Marine Corps please stand up? Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Mountain Heart,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, lieutenants. Colonel Streeter, back to you.
Thank you, General. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating our newly commissioned Marine Corps second lieutenants with another round of applause. At this time, please remain standing for the playing of Anchors Aweigh and the Marines Hymn. Major General Bierman, on behalf of the entire NROTC unit, thank you for being our commissioning general officer and for sharing your words of wisdom. We are grateful for your time and for your service to the unit and these future Marine Corps warriors. Semper Fi, sir.
Thanks, SB. Semper Fi. Hoorah.
Command Senior Chief Foote, please pass final coordinating instructions to the commissionees and conclude the ceremony.
Aye, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the VMI NROTC Marine Corps Commissioning Ceremony. Thank you. Have a great Marine Corps Day. Hoorah.
All right, there you go.